If anyone asked me what my favorite game is, I would tell them it's The Long Dark. Sometimes I would take extended breaks from the game, some of these breaks lasting for years, and find some other games to occupy myself with. But even during those moments of not playing it consistently, my answer never changed at all. It was still my favorite game, it still is, and it probably always will be. A while ago, my husband's friend came over while I was playing it. I had just spent the night in Poacher's Camp, it was early morning, and I was heading to Broken Railroad to do something or other. He took one look at my computer screen and asked me what I was playing. I told him, and his response was, "Why do you like that game? It looks so old and empty." I was kind of taken aback by this. The world was quiet, yeah, but the sun was rising and the sky was flushed with these beautiful shades of orange that reminded me of a vivid watercolor painting. My husband called him to go do whatever it was they had planned, and I never got to answer his question. But I have thought a lot about that question since then, and I see it pop up on various forums and comments since then, in the form of, "Why do you love The Long Dark?" Maybe it's your favorite game too, or maybe you've written it off, or you're thinking of giving it a chance. Whatever your reasons, today I want to finally answer that question, to show you what makes it so unforgettable, so unique, and why I love The Long Dark. The beauty in The Long Dark isn't about hyper-realistic graphics or bustling worlds. It's in the atmosphere, the sense that every sunrise, blizzard, and quiet forest is part of a vast, untouched wilderness waiting to be discovered. The game embraces simplicity, focusing on what matters, the vastness of snow-covered valleys, the subtle glow of an early dawn, and the calm after a storm. It's a beauty that trades visual noise for something more, making the experience feel alive and almost tangible. The Long Dark uses muted tones to create a world that feels raw and genuine. The soft blues, grays, and whites might seem barren, but they build atmosphere that's contemplative and timeless. There's something profound in this isolation as you navigate through the world where nature has reclaimed the remnants of human life. And then there are moments of transformation, the sky shifting from a deep violet to a golden at dusk, or the way the light filters through the trees as a storm clears. These changes invite you to pause and absorb the world around you. Every scene, even in its stillness, feels intimate and sacred, a reminder of the beauty we often overlook in silence and simplicity. Sound design in The Long Dark is as essential to its atmosphere as the visuals. Instead of relying on a constant soundtrack, it weaves natural sounds with occasional understated music cues that shift with the time of day or some locations. These faint musical notes feel like part of the wilderness itself, blending into the background without pulling you out of the experience. Silence here is as powerful as any soundtrack. In those quiet moments by the fire at night with only the crackle of flames and the hush of wind, the solitude feels profound. Yet that silence is also filled with tension, as the unknown always looms nearby. It keeps you alert, waiting for the soft rustle of something moving, the faint growl of a predator, or the warning call of crows, a reminder that danger might be closer than you think. This minimalist sound design keeps you fully engaged, turning silence into something both eerie and beautiful. Without a constant score, you're left to be fully present in the world, each quiet moment heightening your connection to the environment. It's a soundscape that respects the stillness of nature, creating a powerful atmosphere that pulls you deeper into the game. The Long Dark is about more than just how it looks and sounds, also about how it feels. The game draws you into a natural, understated sense of immersion that makes each step into the wilderness feel deliberate. Unlike many other games that bombard players with cues and soundtracks, The Long Dark opens with quiet tension, relying on minimal guidance so you can fully feel each decision's impact. Every detail contributes to this immersion. Crows calling overhead may indicate a food source or a warning. The silence of the clearing snowstorm may lull you into calm, yet beneath the quiet, there is always this sense of unease. You're constantly aware that each choice has consequences, making you approach survival with caution and thoughtfulness. This immersive experience is deepened by the game's complete trust in the player to navigate survival independently. No arrows point the way, and no hints remind you of what to do next. It's up to you to interpret each clue and respond to each challenge, creating an experience that feels deeply personal and engaging. It's not just about reaching a destination, it's about enduring the journey with an awareness of how fragile life is. While many games rely on fantastical creatures or supernatural threats to build suspense, The Long Dark takes a different path. It's a game where nature itself becomes the ultimate adversary, creating an experience that feels authentic. One of the most remarkable things about The Long Dark is that it doesn't need zombies, monsters, or supernatural dangers to create tension. Instead, it places you in a setting where nature itself is your biggest threat. The wilderness doesn't rely on scripted horrors. The fear comes from real dangers: freezing temperatures, starvation, and wild animals who are trying to carve out an existence the same as you. Without relying on manufactured scares, it is filled with moments of tension, discovery, and awe. The world is both beautiful and unforgiving, pulling you in with its authenticity and challenging you to survive on the terms of something you can't control or beat back with a sword. This is what makes the experience so impactful, keeping you engaged not through fictional enemies, but through the raw, unfiltered power of something much more real and devastating. But The Long Dark also keeps you grounded with a commitment to realistic survival, adding layers of complexity to each moment. The Long Dark's dedication to realism is woven into every detail, making survival feel like a complex, demanding challenge, about balancing warmth, hunger, thirst, and exhaustion, each affecting the other. This layered approach makes you feel like you're truly struggling to survive, not just following a checklist of game mechanics. The game forces you to consider factors like the feels like temperature, and to monitor your food and water, and to make tough calls about what to carry and what to leave behind. Every ounce counts and every tool has a purpose, meaning that each decision affects your ability to endure. These mechanics turn the experience into one that requires constant awareness and adjustment, much like real-life survival. Even interactions with the environment follow this realistic approach. Footsteps differ based on the terrain, fires need specific materials to ignite, and every item has weight which impacts movement if you aren't paying attention. This depth transforms the world around you from a backdrop into an essential element in your journey, making you feel as if you're truly a part of it. And it is a world that commands respect and offers no shortcuts. However, realistic survival is also about strategy. The Long Dark pushes you to think like a survivor, planning your every move as if your life depends on it, because it does. In The Long Dark, survival is just not about collecting resources. It's a careful balancing act of planning and strategy. Every step requires thought as you're challenged to anticipate needs, weigh risks, and adapt to changes. This isn't a game where you can rush forward. Each journey, each shelter, and each supply must be chosen with intention, transforming every day into a puzzle of risk and reward. The game's resource management adds even more depth to this strategy. Do you risk taking extra supplies knowing they'll weigh you down and drain your energy, or do you prioritize warmth and travel light? These choices demand constant evaluation, and the weight of each decision underscores how critical every action can be in this unforgiving world. Planning extends beyond what's in your pack to where and when to travel. Do you venture out for supplies before the weather worsens, or do you stay put? Do you rest to regain energy, or push ahead while you still have daylight? This intricate web of decisions makes survival in The Long Dark as much about foresight as it is about action, rewarding your careful planning with a profound sense of accomplishment. Yet, no amount of planning can truly prepare you for the unpredictability of the wilderness, a place that refuses to be mastered, no matter how experienced you become. In many games, there's a point where you've leveled up so much that threats become trivial, enemies easy to dispatch, and challenges nearly non-existent. But The Long Dark doesn't follow that path. There's no ultimate mastery of the wilderness here, no point where nature ceases to be a threat. No matter how experienced you are, you never fully conquer the environment, and each day can bring a new challenge that humbles even the most seasoned players. The wilderness remains as treacherous on day 100 as it was on day 1. A sudden storm, an unexpected encounter, or dwindling supplies can quickly turn your confidence into caution. This unyielding nature of the world keeps you from becoming complacent, as every situation requires vigilance, adaptability, and respect for the landscape's power. This dynamic keeps each playthrough fresh and humbling, ensuring that overconfidence is quickly punished. The Long Dark respects the wilderness as an equal player, reminding you that survival is a privilege, not a right. The Long Dark also takes a very different approach to storytelling, and I think it's something really worth touching on as well. In The Long Dark, storytelling takes the backseat to survival, and that's part of what makes it so compelling. Unlike games that guide you through a narrative with clear objectives and dialogues, the Long Dark survival mode strips all that away, leaving you to find meaning in your own actions. There's no quest log, no scripted dialogue, just you and the wilderness. This minimalistic approach gives you the freedom to create your own story, where every day you survive, every place you visit, and every choice you make contributes to a unique personal narrative. This approach trusts the player to interpret the world on their own terms. The game isn't afraid of silence. Instead, it lets the landscape and small details tell the story. A ruined cabin, an abandoned fire, or a lone animal carcass, all things that hint at lives that have been lost or places that have seen struggle. You come across remnants of others who may have faced the same hardships, and you're left to imagine their journey. This silent storytelling creates a bond between the player and the world as you fill in the blanks and create your own version of what might have happened. The absence of a direct storyline makes the experience more personal and reflective. You become the storyteller, and each decision, each close call, becomes a part of a larger tale of survival. But The Long Dark also gives you flexibility to shape your experience, letting you choose how you want to survive in this world through various modes and customization options. Adding even more replayability, The Long Dark doesn't offer a one-size-fits-all experience. Whether you're new to survival games or a veteran looking for the toughest challenges, there's a mode that fits your style. The game comes with several difficulty levels, from the calm, exploration-focused Pilgrim mode to the brutal, unforgiving Interloper mode, and even Misery now. But the game goes further, letting you tailor the experience to whatever you want it to be through custom settings, and then from also sharing your custom settings with others. These customizations allow players to adjust everything from wildlife aggression to loot scarcity, making the game endlessly replayable. It's rare to find a game that hands players so much freedom, allowing each player to build their own ideal survival experience, testing their limits however they desire. With each unique playthrough, The Long Dark adapts to what you need, making it a game that's as flexible as it is challenging. And I'd be absolutely remiss if I didn't take a moment to recognize the incredible community that surrounds this game. A community filled with some of the most wonderful and supportive people you will find anywhere. One of the most rewarding aspects of The Long Dark isn't just the game itself, it's the incredible community that surrounds it. The Long Dark community is known for its kindness, creativity, and support, creating a space where players come together to share stories, strategies, and inspiration. It's rare to find a gaming community that's this welcoming and engaged. In this community, everyone's survival stories are valued, and people come together to share tips, showcase their gameplay, and encourage each other. New players receive helpful advice, while seasoned players offer insights and guidance, making the community an ideal space for everyone. This camaraderie among players creates a shared adventure, giving each survival run the feeling of being part of a larger story. For anyone considering this game, it's reassuring to know you're joining a supportive, passionate group of players who make the Long Dark journey even more worthwhile. So, why do I love the Long Dark? It's because this game captures something rare: the profound beauty of solitude, the thrill of survival, and the quiet allure of a world that pulls you in so deeply you can lose yourself in it. The Long Dark is more than just a test of endurance. It's an invitation to explore, to think, to strategize, and to immerse yourself into a wilderness that challenges you with its complexity and captivates with its calm. From the glow of the sunrise over snowy peaks to the aurora coming to life over the night sky, the game invites you to pause, absorb, and become part of its world. Every choice you make transforms each run into a story that only you can experience. It's not a game to master, but a place to adapt, learn, and find joy in hard-won victories. The challenge is unrelenting, but that's what makes it meaningful. And for those of you who wish to choose to step into the quiet apocalypse, it becomes a place that stays with you, a reminder of simple strength to keep going, to find beauty in the struggle, one step, one breath, and one day at a time.